on, Glad.
Hey.
Come on, Glad.
Hey.
Come on, Glad.
Hey. Hey.
Come on, Glad.
Hey.
I told y'all, come on. Come on. Come on. Come on in here. Go get your cousin.
It's about to go down.
Your mom,
man,
all them
call your
folks.
cousin. Man, go and chill in town. It's about to go down the
Hey,
studio.
hey,
If you don't
hey,
know, then
hey,
what?
hey.
Now you know, get it.
Man, I can't with this dude, man. I can't with this dude. I can't with this dude. I'm going to cut it
Y'all
off.
better come
I'ma
on
cut
in
it
this
off.
thing before I get wild
I'ma cut
around
it
here,
off.
boy.
Cause he done showed out, man.
Yeah, I know y'all like that.
He done
so
showed
you
out.
like that, huh? Okay.
Man, you done showed out today.
Yeah, man, I got new cuts, so I acting funny.
Oh, okay, you got this.
Hey, boy, y'all crazy.
But he done got a haircut.
Yeah, man.
But that line crispy. You hear me?
Let me tell you something, boy. You look at me too hard, you might get cut.
Boy, ooh wee.
Yeah, boy, I've been in the gym.
Cut bread.
I go on vacation tomorrow. I got a friend cut. Boy, you can't tell me nothing.
Man.
Let me tell you something. Right now, the way I'm feeling, if I tell you a duck can pull a truck, you know what I need you to do?
What's that?
Hook him
up. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Man, get what I need to tell the folks, man.
Tell them what you
Welcome.
Yes, sir.
Back to the Unbreakable Glass
What's that?
Podcast.
Yes, sir.
That's your boy Rico Suave. I'm the host that do the most. It's your boy Quavo. We in this thing, man. Y'all come on in, man. One time.
You see what we need you to do is going across the screen. If you love us and you support us, you like where we going as we continue to grow, share, and share some more.
Hey, share that thing, man.
Yes, sir.
Share that thing. Hey, one time for Chick-fil-A in Starkville, one time for Jonathan and Melissa Roger. We always show y'all love. Y'all thank y'all so much. One time for the gathering of Starkville. One time, yes indeed. The Rico Glass Group, the Rico Glass Council, come on, the Coalition. I don't know what quite getting this stuff. All them, man. Yeah. And for everybody that's watching right now, y'all. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. Quitman, I see Quitman in the building. Hey, y'all already know who we got on. I'm finna bring on in a minute. Y'all already know what it is, but Quitman, I see y'all.
But it's your booty is representing.
Hometown. Look,
What happened?
Look, we gonna clarify that in a minute.
What you talking about, man?
Hometown, what's up with y'all, man? Thank y'all for tuning in. Everybody on Facebook, everybody on YouTube, thank you so much. Let's see. Glad got some stuff going on.
Oh man, you know what I'm about to tell you, bro. You forgetting the biggest thing, man.
What's that?
Man, shout out to Big Sounders.
Big Sounders!
Yeah, man.
Sounders.
Shout out to God, man. Without him, I'm seriously, man, the more and more I grow, the more and more I know is that one thing I do know is that I am completely nothing without him and I'm everything with him. So
hold on, say that again.
I am completely nothing without him. But I'm everything with him.
Come on now.
Okay, so I need.
Well, that'll preach by itself. You got a collection plate?
That God is my everything.
Come on now.
All right, brother.
Come on now.
Hey, well, look, without further ado, man, we ain't gonna hold y'all long. We want to go ahead and chime in to today's topic of discussion.
Well,
today we wanted to call it
Lessons from the Block.
Come on, somebody. Lessons from the Block.
Equity, and education. But let me tell you who we got in the building. Let me tell you who we got in the building right now.
Yeah, who got in the building?
Listen to this now. You know, she is a dedicated educator. A dynamic leadership coach, and an accomplished consultant with over a decade of experience.
Come on.
Supporting learners and leaders. Come on now.
Yes.
She specializes in fostering collaboration, unlocking potential, and empowering individuals and organizations to thrive. Y'all don't understand what I'm saying.
Come on.
Y'all don't understand what you know who that is.
Who that is?
That is none other than my classmate.
Who that is?
None other than my classmate.
Who your classmate, Quay?
Who your classmate? Dr. Tiffany Jones Fisher. Y'all show us some love.
Yeah, we got her on here. We told you. We coming.
Yeah. Dr. Tiffany Jones Fisher in the building. What's up, Tiffany?
What's up? How are you all today?
Hey, we in here now.
Man, you know how we gotta say it, man.
It's been a long time coming.
We're blessed, highly favored, walk the Holy Spirit and anointed, though. Jesus.
Come on now. Come on now.
Hey, come on. Yeah.
What's up to everybody in the comments? I already see y'all showing some love, but Tiffany, But tell us a little bit more about who Tiffany Jones Fisher is.
So first of all, I heard Rico say Shabuda, and we got love for Shabuda, but I
clarify
am from Pachuta.
Please clarify.
By way of the Orange community.
It all sounds the same.
And no.
We all confused.
No. Cause see, you come to Clark County, everybody know we unified. But anyway,
everybody want to drive to the coast of Mobile. They always they see Shabuda, Pachuta, all that. They think you know what I'm saying.
Missing out. But just about me. I mean, education. I live, breathe, sleep, drink, everything. Education. Yeah. The oldest of 4 children, and my mom raised my 2 cousins, so 6.
Shout out to Miss Felicia. What's going on?
Yes.
Courtney, I see you in there. What's up, Courtney? What's up, sis?
Yes. But this is what I do. My mom always said she knew I was gonna be an educator because I taught my bears and my dogs, and then when I got my brothers, they had to play school. Then Courtney had to play school. But hey, it is what it is. So just a humble country girl, just trying to make a big impact.
Humble country girl, but you the country boy with the big old dream.
Yeah.
So like she get her boots on the ground.
Get up. Get your...
Where the fans at? Hey, where the fans? Oh my bad.
Get him out of here.
I'm sorry.
Get him out of here.
My bad.
But Tip, look. So we're gonna jump straight into it. All right. So we're talking about education, and I don't know where we want to start. Is there a certain starting point you want to start at?
It really isn't. Just jumping in, thinking about the state of education, thinking about my experiences with education. I've been fortunate enough that I have worked in different schools and I've seen different things, but there are some things that are universally the same in schools. And so one of those things is how kids react when they're in certain situations.
Okay.
You and I went to school together.
Yeah.
I will say that my childhood was amazing. It was amazing. And there was nothing traumatic about my childhood at all. I didn't experience trauma until I became an adult.
Have mercy.
However, we have a different breed of folk that we are educating. These children are exposed to so much, so quickly.
Yes.
And a lot of these children are dealing with things that you and I, we didn't think about until we became adults. And so that trauma impacts how they learn. It impacts what they're able to learn. It impacts who's able to stand in front of them and help them learn. And so while we know that children have changed, unfortunately, education has not been as dynamic. It has not changed to meet the needs of the child that we're currently educating.
Go ahead.
No, you're good. But yeah, it hasn't. And so, believe it or not, thinking back to when we had the one-room schools, when the teachers knew the parents, when they knew something was going on, they were able to have those conversations. It's not necessarily the case now.
Man, my mama knew everybody. I'm talking about all them teachers. I couldn't do Nathan. Nathaniel. Do you hear what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
I couldn't do nothing, Rico.
Right.
Y'all had one-room school?
We did not have one room. He being funny. We did not have I said thinking back.
Hold on now.
You showing out. I said thinking back.
I'm sorry. I don't think we can just breeze over that.
Well, glad you think everybody was in the same room. We just... Lord, somebody come get him.
Absolutely not.
Somebody come get him.
That guy there is Shabuda.
Hey, oh my God. He put everybody in Shabuda.
Hey man, I'm sorry, but y'all was in one room.
We were not in one room schools. We're thinking about.
I know it was the blood.
Shows out
he's real bad.
Real bad.
So Tiffany, so look, this is what I want to jump into. Okay, I want to start out with failing systems and lost potential.
So, of course, okay. So I don't know who in the world keeps researching after they've attained their doctorate degree, but I do. So when we talk about failing systems, when I said earlier that schools have kind of been stagnated in how they educate children. It's like, okay, you're going to come here, you're going to learn, and you're going to graduate. That is not the case anymore.
Yeah, that's what it was, back in the day.
That's what it was back in the day.
They say you got your lesson.
You got your lesson.
Yeah.
But, of course we know that there have been mental illnesses and there have been people dealing with traumatic things, but we didn't see it as prevalent as we see it now in school. Like, we knew people were dealing with things, but we never knew their business. They still came to school and they learned. But now, you got a kid sitting in your class and teachers like, oh, you didn't come here with your supplies, you didn't come here ready to do this, you didn't come. But little do we know that kid got up, there were no lights on, there were no adults at that house. They had to get everybody that lived with them dressed that morning. They had to, they got evicted, so they woke up, they slept in a car. It is so many layers to this, and crazy. It's not that schools are not trying; it's that the lack of funding, and us not having the wraparound services that we need. That is our failing system, because right now our schools are so heavily focused on the accountability model, because everybody wants to be in A school, everybody wants to be a B school, because we want people to move, we want them to bring their children to our school. We're having to compete with charter schools and private schools, so it's a numbers game. And unfortunately, I mean, that's great, wonderful, and good. We need some kind of accountability, but our students are losing. We are graduating students that aren't prepared to go into the real world. We're graduating students that have no soft skills. We're graduating students that may or may not can hold down a job. So that's alarming, because we getting older. Somebody's got to take care of us. We got to have the doctors. We got to have the nurses, the truck drivers. And the question becomes, if we don't have that, what are we going to do? And of course, I'm not saying by any means this is all on the schools, but think about that kid that may be a first generation high school graduate. You have a parent that's working really hard to meet their basic needs, but doesn't know how to meet their academic needs or the needs that occur after high school. So, we've got to be that place. And so in order for us to meet the needs of students, when I talk about the failing system, the system needs to be revamped. It fits a model that we no longer have.
Wow. Look, you are, what you finna say, Glad?
No, I was gonna ask. I was gonna just kind of piggyback off that. So one of the biggest things that was taught to me is, how do you eat an elephant one bite at a time, right? So you said the model has failed. If you were to change something, just starting with one step in the beginning, when it comes to education, when it comes to getting the preparation for a child that graduate high school, what do you think would be the number one priority?
These children need to learn grit.
What's that again?
Grit. 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 Here's the thing. I think that as parents, and this is me raising a teenager, you guys have kids. I think that so often we focus so heavily on, I want to make sure my kid have what I didn't have. Now let me preface this with this. I had everything. I had everything. So it's going to be hard to top that. But we try so hard to make sure they grow up the best this, the best that.
Right.
We forget to put things in them that they need. They need that structure. They need those chores. They need the struggle. We in the participation trophy age. For what?
Right.
Because this one going to cry if this one get a trophy and I don't. So what are we teaching these kids? We're not. And so they need to know productive struggle. They need to know that when somebody corrects you, it's not them being a hater. They're trying to get you on the right path.
Right.
Come on.
I remember Miss Johnson and Miss Daisy McKenzie marking them papers up with that red ink. But that made me a better student when I got to the Dr. Candace Love Jackson.
Man, let me tell you something. Miss Marty Gear humbled me so bad.
My Lord.
Miss Gear.
Yeah.
Yes. She say you on the ball, ain't you, little Moody? But I'm thinking I had a good grade. They got a C or a D on my paper. What? I'm like, shame. What? In front of everybody now.
Everybody.
You walk to the front of the classroom. Yes, you did.
When they do that little fold of the paper. See, we can't. I'm as a teacher, we can't do that because that embarrasses the child. And it's not even a mechanism of embarrassment, but we raising some cotton candy kids.
Ooh.
Man, I like
write that down.
I like that.
Finna write that down. Cotton candy.
Sensitive society.
Yes.
So it's just like people. Let me say this. People feel entitled. I know that's loosely said, so let me take it a step forward. People don't want to earn anything anymore. They think it should be given to me just because I know that it's available. No, you got to work hard for this.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Don't look at me and just because I just say, for instance, you make it look easy or Quay make it look easy, I make it look easy. That doesn't mean that it's easy. You don't know what I had to get through to get there.
Right.
And so don't think that just in one day you're going to be where I'm at.
Right.
Vice versa, you know what I mean? me looking at somebody else, I shouldn't get the mindset I'm gonna be there.
Exactly.
We gotta establish this thing called earn.
Right.
You gotta go through the process. Fall in love with the process before you can fall in love with the results.
And give schools the wiggle room.
Come on.
To explore the process. I'm gonna tell y'all something. With everything, with all the pressures that teachers primarily face, administrators, district leaders, there's not a whole lot of wiggle room for productive struggle. It literally is. We have this. These are the boxes we have to check on the accountability model. And for the 180 some odd days these students are in school, that is what you need to focus on. I remember by the time I got in 9th grade, I had written several papers.
Okay.
That's not the case with my child. I have to walk her through how to do it. She writes some papers, but that's not the case. And I'm knowing when she gets to college, you're gonna have to write a paper. Well, there's Chat GPT. Baby, let me tell you something. Yes, there's Chat GPT, but colleges are investing a lot of money to see, hey, what is it? We're gonna figure out how we can, combat this Chat GPT. We've got to, that's the first thing, the productive struggle. The second thing is giving students room to explore and think critically. Because they cannot. I
say it all the time. I say critical thinking was one of the most essential lessons I wish I would have caught a hold to.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about y'all with Chat GPT.
Yeah. Now, don't do Chat GPT.
Now, it has its place. Right. It has its place.
If you use Chat GPT,
it was an article that came out today.
If you use it right.
It was a professor, I forgot what university, failed some students because he found out they wrote their paper
with Chat GPT.
That's the misuse of it. You know what I mean?
Right. And they got to learn the responsible use.
Anything that is a tool can be misused.
Right.
So it just come with the territory. Right. Like anything you adapt or you improve or you implement, it gonna have its pros and cons. That's one of the cons. People gonna be lazy. I'm just gonna put it in Chat GPT. No, but like you said, I like the idea of where you're going, where you say they're finding ways to change that. But before we continue on, man,
Dead's fair, boy, you crazy.
The comments are going real crazy right now. So I'm gonna start with the first one that we saw. Okay, sure. So before we go on further, Jeff Aiken has a question. He said, "What do you think is the biggest challenge that you or other educators may face in the school system today?"
Good question, Jeff.
The biggest challenge I think that educators face today is pressure. Let me say where this pressure comes from.
Okay.
Pressure from parents, pressure from administrators or higher ups to perform with very little resources, pressures to produce under circumstances that most people could not produce. It's really interesting that we put educators in a classroom. They got 25, 30 kids in that classroom. And we tell them, you teach these kids. You make sure that you teach Rico what he needs. You teach Quay what he needs. You teach Tiffany what she needs. And then at the end of the year, after I taught you the way that you learn, I'm going to give y'all all the same test. Then if they all don't perform where you suck as a teacher, if that child doesn't pass, that parent, that is the worst teacher ever. And if enough parents make noise, that teacher's gone. That teacher can't pay their bills. So I really think it's the pressure. I think that it's the lens that everyone looks through.
That's good.
Because my child has to be on top. And of course we know teacher pay, that's a whole nother part. But the pressure is probably the biggest thing
that's good. That's good. I love the way you expanded on that. Because I heard a quote by Albert Einstein. That if you judge a fish on its ability to climb a tree, that fish will grow up the remainder of his life thinking it's dumb. But the reality is that we may have to me personally, I think that kids should take personality tests, and classes should be grouped up according to personality so that they can be taught accordingly. I think that's fair. I think that's a little more fair.
Really, it's really interesting you said that because I can remember being in school, and Jaquay, you may remember this, but we didn't think about it that way because we didn't know. But we were grouped homogenously, which means all of us smart kids. We was in the same class. You might didn't think about it.
Because I was in the other class. I was about to ask you what that word meant.
But think about it. But really think about it. And so, and of course you have, now it's more heterogeneous, which is fine. It's mixed up. But again, It's mixed.
What that word?
It's
Oh,
mixed.
that
It's very
mixed
level.
up.
It's very level.
You gonna have when you say those big words, I need this
yes,
behind.
sir. Yes,
I
sir.
need to be able to understand.
But
I appreciate
Break it down.
But
now.
the thing about it is, because I can remember there not being inclusion. I remember those kids went somewhere else, and I didn't see them until PE. However, now you have them come in, you have those services, and a lot of them shy away from them. And so, I mean, you want to group them together, but we got to give teachers the tools and the resources they need to be successful when we group them together. We can't just.
So let me ask you this, man. Tip. So have you seen students with potential fall through the cracks? And what contributed to that?
How many times?
Mm-hmm.
The thing about it is, I'm gonna be honest, cause and I'm saying this. I know the people in the comments. I have 5 college degrees, so I'm not saying that education is not important, but I've seen several students fall through the cracks because I don't have the support system at home.
Yeah.
There is nobody working at home. So my job at McDonald's is what's paying the bills. So that's why I can't come to class. I can't come to class because my baby sister is sick. If my mom misses one more day, she's not going to have a job. So there are several students that have fallen through the cracks. And the thing of it is, it's really funny. There's a lot of research that I've been following that says that the ideal time for high school students to start school is between 9 and 10 o'clock. Most schools start at 7:30, 7:45. Their brains are not even awake. I worked at a school a couple years ago. We explored the idea of offering alternative hours for school because I was in a population where I had kids literally missing school because they had to work. I remember taking makeup work to Popeyes so that kid could graduate.
Wait.
You know what? No,
wait a minute.
Go ahead, brother.
Go ahead, Glenn.
I was just gonna say
That's
because
wild, bro.
you know that, and I'm becoming a huge advocate for this. You know why that I think that is the case? Because we have people who are in those high roles who are making decisions about people's lives who never had to live it.
Never had to live it.
Because if you did a research
talk
study,
your talk, Glad.
I'm just being real.
Talk
with you.
then.
I'm so y'all just got. I'm so sick of people being in places who haven't have to go through those situations to make decisions and say this how it should be. If you haven't lived like that, do not make no decision say this is how it should be. Because if you all laid back, you got kicked up, everything working out for you, you can't tell that person how to think.
Absolutely.
You don't know what that pressure. I mean, I had a great discussion with a great friend of mine, and he was of a different race. And one of the biggest differences that with you say you got 5 degrees. I went through 5 different schools before I got mine, and I can relate to what you're saying because I was faced with so many distractions when I attempted to go to college. My grandfather had cancer. My mother was struggling financially. Then, my first car I ever got, man, I gave it back to my mom. We had a Scooby-Doo van driving around. Bro, y'all have seen the picture. I'm just saying, the stuff is real. So we talked about that. I said, Coach, he was a coach. I said, when you went to school, you went to college, you can go there and focus. You didn't have to worry about what's going on back home.
Right.
You didn't have to think about my mom may lose a house. You didn't have to think about my grandfather cancer. You didn't have to think about, man, how I'm gonna get home today. You didn't have to think about, let me figure out what I'm gonna get. You didn't have those other thoughts. You can solely go to school and focus on your education.
Right. And it's funny you say that. I didn't grow up that way, but I had to make an effort.
Come on.
To learn.
Get to that part.
To learn if I'm gonna lead students, if I'm gonna lead people, I need to know because I don't know what that feels like. I truly don't. And Jaquay would tell you, I don't know what that feels like, but I had to make an effort to learn. So even though we have school leaders that may not have experienced that, they have to make the effort to learn. Decisions are not made sitting behind a desk.
Come on.
You have to go.
Make sure you say in the
comfort
of your
desk because you have to go where your students are. You have to meet them where they are. And the thing about it is, one of the things when I got into leadership, like I said, I've been studying this, and the research is gonna come out a little bit later on. But one of the things that I made an effort to do as a school administrator was to know who I was leading, not just my teachers, not just my students. I knew which teachers were going through things. I knew which of my students were going through things. I was at Chick-fil-A on my way up here. One of my students said, "Hey, Doc, are you coming back? Because I don't know if I'm going to make it through this senior year without you." I returned back.
How did that make you feel, though?
Man, I mean, that's heavy.
Pressure there.
That's real pressure. That's real pressure.
Yeah.
But you know, at the other side of it, to have a kid who I knew fought every day of high school. I'm talking about she whooping boys, she whooping everybody. And I'm pulling her to the side. I said, "Look at him. You can't keep fighting these kids. I'm not going to keep suspending you. I'm not going to keep doing it." And she looked, you're not finna keep getting suspended. Had to go through some hoops, some special preparations, but she was my project. She got tired of being in my office. She got tired of having lunch with Dr. Fisher. She got tired of me having to accompany her to class. So guess what? You start straightening up. She in the military. She in the Air Force right now.
That's good.
I said she probably gonna be in hand-to-hand combat because she got them hands. but the fact of the matter is, we got her out that situation because I took the time to learn what it was she was going through, why you were so angry, found all that out, and that takes time. And unfortunately, because of the pressures of the accountability model, because of the pressures that we receive, teachers don't always have the opportunity to do that. Administrators don't always have the opportunities to do that.
So, man, I'm going to say this and I'm going to go back to the comments. I think Home Depot, I think this is a great idea, by the way. Home Depot do this thing once a quarter. If you're an executive, you had to work the floor for at least 1 week. I'm only saying that because I think that helps build the structure, the understanding. Like you say, even if you didn't confident, and that's what I want to talk about with the coach, he said, I need to learn to listen to understand.
Absolutely.
Because it's wrong for you, but it's good that you did that, to take time out to get to know somebody, get to know their situation. Because their experiences are not your experiences. You know better because you know better.
And are you going to follow me?
Come on.
If I have no empathy.
We got to have that rapport.
I don't have a rapport. I don't have a relationship. Are you truly going to follow me, or are you going to be compliant?
Come on. Come on now. But look, real quick, I don't want us to lose track of time, man. So Jaden Harris, he had a good point. Why you talk about kids have to have grits? He said some kids have grit, but they don't have guidance.
Absolutely. So that comes in when you have those positive adults, you have those mentorships, and not just, we're going to have a mentor program and it's up there in name. You truly have to invest in kids. My third year teaching, I taught at one of my favorite places ever. And those kids, I still am in contact with those kids. Those kids are lawyers, they're teachers, they're engineers. And even though some people have the grit, they find the guidance in those teachers. They find the guidance at school. But again, the teachers got to have the opportunity to invest in knowing the kid. Because and Quay, you know this. I still talk to Miss McKenzie. That was my 9th grade English teacher. I still seek her for guidance. I still talk to Miss Davis, my 8th grade history teacher. And I have that rapport with my students. And so we have to allow the space and the place for the students to get to know each other. And then the young man that made the comment, we have the grit but not the guidance. That means the school's got to go where the students are.
Yeah.
Very first day when I, as an associate principal of the admin team, we were in Meridian, Mississippi, Meridian High School. And I know everybody hears all the things about Meridian. But we loaded those teachers up on the bus because I need you to know where these students are coming from, not to feel sorry for them. Because if you know students that come from poverty, they don't want anybody to feel sorry for them. They want you to see them.
Yeah, they just want to have it.
We want to be seen. I want a fair shot. Look at me beyond the poverty. So just giving them the opportunity to look and have that. We used to go and do reading nights in the housing authority. So, you have to meet people where they are. You can't put yourself in this gate and think that you're going to get these results because you're not. You're not. So, yeah.
Okay, so look, we're going to take a pause real quick. That was an awesome first half right there. We're going to come back and we're going to talk about some trauma. We're going to talk about choice and the circumstances of survival. We're going to talk about all that on the next segment. But right now, I'm going to turn it over to Rico Glass, and we'll be right back after the short message.
Yeah, for those y'all in Ishabuda, Quitman, Meridian, wherever the case may be, y'all have heard, is it Clark County?
It's Clark County.
Clark County, all right. Clark County. They know about Clark County. If you're around Clark County, I need you to visit Clark State Park.
Hey, hometown, get the Clarko, man. They got some good stuff.
Park. Let me show you what these cabins looking like. See, y'all, everybody.
Dr. Fisher looked up at the screen.
Hey.
Like, what, Clarko?
All y'all want to take y'all want to go over there to old Gatlinburg all the time, man. Look at this. It's beautiful.
They're nice.
They're nice there. Look at that thing shining and nice.
Yeah,
Y'all
right
go.
there.
Boy,
look at Dr. Fisher over there. They're right there at Clarko.
Boy,
They done upgraded.
I can catch me a nice little thing and brim and bass on out there, man.
They out there.
Y'all get chilly. Well, you can go out there and smoke a nice cigar or something right there. But that's nice. Look, you ain't got to worry about no skeeters.
No what now?
No skeeters.
Oh.
Yeah. Y'all slide over to Clark State Park and y'all book it. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you how this thing works. Okay? If you go ahead and book before July the 2nd, 2025, I don't mean you have to book to stay before July the 2nd, but you do have to book before July the 2nd, 2025, okay? You can book all the way into December of 2025. We will give you all 25% of overnight accommodation, but you got to use code GLASS25. Now, this code is case sensitive, okay? We have people who have tried it and they was like, oh, your code don't work. Y'all be like, I'm going to jump on you. But anyway, y'all use GLASS25 and make that work. If y'all interested in that, y'all go to mdwfp.com and book your stay at Clark State Park today, man. Again, book with them. They got 21 locations across the state of Mississippi, 250 plus cabins around the state of Mississippi. Again, use GLASS25, all upper caps, and we're gonna make this thing happen. Back to you, Quay.
Man, that's what's up, man. Hey, appreciate that, Glass.
Yeah.
Back on Dr. Fisher.
Mm-hmm.
So you were talking about the story about loading the teachers up on the bus. Okay. I want you to finish that.
Okay.
Finish where you was going with that, because I really want to know the outcome of loading the teachers up on the bus. And I'm figuring you took them into those communities where the students are coming from.
Right.
So just kind of finish that story right there and tell us how that went.
So, we had the opportunity to ride through, different parts of the neighborhoods and look at the different neighborhoods. And probably the most impactful thing that occurred from that is that a lot of teachers, so you know what, we are focusing too much on the minor things. Now, I know they got to come to school, they got to come with supplies, they got to come with all these things, but what happens when they cannot? What happens? And so I think that opened the door for teachers to learn to be more empathetic. Definitely opened the door for us to have more culturally sensitive responses to how we approach students. Mm-hmm. And that opened the door for us to put things in place so that we can have structures, because I don't care who you are, kids need structure, kids need discipline. The worst kids crave that, but are the worst behaved. There's no worst behaved kids crave that. And so that ushered in a lot of conversation and allowed us to do things that we previously didn't do and to get better outcomes for the students.
So how can schools adopt that approach? Man,
it's so
that
many
trauma-informed approach.
It's so many things that schools can do. First of all, schools got to know what the problem is. And in order to know what the problem is, you've got to bring people to the table. It can't just be your top performers. It can't just be your student council. You've got to bring that behavior kid to the table. You've got to bring that kid that's not coming to school to the table. You've got to bring that parent that comes to the functions not acting quite right. You've got to bring that parent that comes that's well put together. You've got to bring that kid. It has to be representation from the entire population of your school. And you might not get everybody, but you need to have a good representation, because a lot of the times, and I'm guilty of it myself, we tend to gravitate towards those kids that give us the response that we want.
Come on. Mm-hmm. It's easier.
It's easier, and it's human nature. You want to hear the good things. But if we're going to make true, realistic, lasting change, we got to sit down with the people that we don't gravitate towards to hear what is going to be real. I know that a lot of schools give needs assessment. Don't know about anyone else's schools. The schools I've worked in, you don't get a great response from those because the babies, it's in their bottom, they book bag under the hot chips.
Not the hot chips.
Under the hot chips, and the parent didn't eat.
Takis.
Yeah, under the Takis.
Miss Wilson said, "Talk about it, Fisher."
Yeah, they don't they don't get it. So we have to go where they are. Like, what is gonna make them get it? I know the last school I worked at, we didn't get a whole lot of turnout for parent meeting, but baby, when them basketball games came,
ain't that
they
so?
in there. But let me tell you, while you here, come let me talk to you. I'm gonna have this little conversation.
No, you ain't get them at the basketball game,
yes,
did
yes, sir. Sure God did.
Hey, that's called continuous improvement. Matter of fact,
Hey.
what if educators start setting up stuff at games?
Absolutely. Listen,
That might be a good idea, because they gonna be there.
Yeah.
They at the game.
They gonna be at the game.
Why
And
not?
for those of you that know, Title I, we gotta check those boxes. Set your table up at the game.
All right.
Talk to them.
All right.
They coming to the game. They not missing the game.
Yeah, dinner and a movie.
Yes. Yes. We're gonna get them now.
That is crazy. So Dr. Fisher, I want to roll into the role of relationships in mentorship. Okay. So what are the challenges of forming bonds with students that's dealing with the instability and the distrust of the people, teachers, administrators?
So one challenge is not seeing yourself in the people that are educating you. I'm looking at the comment on the screen.
That's good. Hold on. For the people in the back. Man. Say that again for the people in the back.
Not seeing yourself in the people that are educating.
What that mean too?
So not seeing a teacher that looks like you. Not seeing yourself in the material that you're being taught. Just not seeing yourself almost as if I don't have a place.
It's just a job.
And I think it was Mr. Johnson just made the comment.
Yeah.
He would like to see more males in education.
I'll put it back on.
And I would too. And we have males in education, and no shade, because I love coaches, I love sports. But I need more males in my core areas. I need more males teaching English. I need more males teaching. Shout out to my brother, by the way, who is an English teacher / coach. We need more males teaching math and the sciences and the social studies. And so how does that happen? Because men are considered to be head of households. You look at a teaching salary. All right. They're not going to stay in that classroom long. They're pulled out. They're promoted to administrators. So once again, that black male student or that Latina male student is faced. I don't see anybody that looks like me in this room educating me. There may be somebody that looks like me walking the halls, keeping us in line, but there's not anyone that looks like me standing in front of me, teach me, or there's not enough to go around. Several initiatives are speaking to that, trying to help that. But one thing, you got to give these people a livable salary.
I was just about to say
a man is going to take care of his responsibilities.
Yeah.
And he wants to be able to do that. So we got to give him a livable salary in order to do that. We can't compete when I get a math degree and I'm coming out as a teacher in Mississippi. I'm gonna be generous and say $43,000. But if I can go and be an engineer and I'm making 80, what am I? And I'm not saying teachers got to make 80, but you got to give them something.
You got to give them something to work with.
Come on now.
You got to. That makes a lot of, I love the way you said that, because maybe there's something we haven't hit on as much. And honestly, this is my first time hearing it. Maybe you've heard it before. Is that for a man to remain in education, he got to provide for his household.
He's got to provide for his
household.
household.
The income that's currently, especially in the state of Mississippi, I think I recently read that Mississippi is the last in teacher salary.
Yes.
I think I recently just read that you're not going to get a man in state law.
And especially in your rural, smaller schools who don't have the local tax base to sustain and support an increase, it's going to be a little tough.
Come on.
I didn't see my first black male teacher until I got to college.
Yeah.
And I'm a black female. I saw plenty of black female teachers, but I didn't see my first black male teacher until I got to college.
Now you said that the only black male teacher I saw was in study hall, and I put tax in his seat.
We had Mr. Baker.
We did that. I didn't.
What Mr. Baker teach, Quay?
He teach?
Science, some type of science, I think.
Yeah, I didn't have him, but I mean, I didn't have.
I ain't have.
Shout out to Mr. Baker.
Yeah, shout out to Mr. Baker.
Shout out.
Yeah.
My boy Ricky Johnson, Lamar's Anderson, y'all watching, boy. They got some stories about Mr. Baker, man.
Yeah.
So Dr. Fisher, how can we teach accountability without ignoring the context of poverty and violence and again the instability?
So so you said how can we teach accountability? So I mean, we have to, first of all, we have to stop thinking, because everybody, it's really interesting, the dynamics of what's going on today. Everything is everybody else's problem. I'm out here for myself and that's it. But let's be for real. If we really sit down, how many of us got what we are by ourselves? We did not.
Come on.
We did not. So when we talk about that accountability piece, first of all, we have got to, what do we have? What do we have to offer these students? Because here's the thing, I can't hold you accountable for something that I have not taught you. Okay? We can't assume that this is what the students are learning at home, because they are not.
Come on.
Not everybody is being reared the same way. And it's no shade to the parents. Most parents are doing the very best that they know how with what they have. So when we are holding students accountable, we have to model that for them. We have to teach that for them, and we got to reteach it until they get it. We got to keep going. So so the first thing is just seeing what is it that we need. And when we do our needs assessment, really pull back that bandage and look at that festering sore, what we have, that we've just been pouring a little alcohol over and put a little Neosporin when it's all the way to the bone. But we gotta look at what we have. We have to truly look at what is it that's going on. Think about it. If you as a student walked into a school every day, all right, and these people said to you, I care about you, I love you, and it's water leaking from the ceiling, it's dirty in the hallway, cause the custodian back when he hadn't mopped all month. How can you say? But how can right? How can I, as a student, believe you truly care about me when you don't even care enough to make sure I'm in a clean environment to learn? So
I agree.
The accountability begins with us as educators. It begins with us holding people that make these decisions about this money. It begins with us. We got to get this. We got to get things where it should be. Mississippi, I think it was 2012. I was reading approximately $12 million on standardized testing. How many teachers, mental health counselors, SROs, teachers' aides, resources could that have purchased?
So wait a minute. Go back. So the $12 million was spent for
collectively. And that was back in 2012. That was my last figure. But
so it's probably more.
It's probably more now. Approximately $12 million standardized testing collectively
over the state of Mississippi.
Over the state of Mississippi. I didn't know we had $12 million.
$12 million spent on standard testing.
I ain't finna talk on that.
I get it. We have to have a measure. But what if our accountability model started measuring things that truly impacted student learning, teacher retention? Because we knew as students next year when I got to this grade, I was gonna have Miss So and So and Mr. So and So was gonna teach this.
We knew it.
That's not the case now. You hope they gonna be there because they probably have found them a general manager job at Walmart that pays more than their teaching salary, and they gonna holler at the kids. So we've got to look at the stability. We got to look at how we spending our money. We got to look at this accountability model, because I personally got into this to make an impact, on students that educators made on me, and to produce citizens that can go out and help positively change the world. So if we can't even keep people there, how are we gonna produce anything? Unfortunately, you got a lot of schools who are scrambling.
Yeah.
Nobody's running to these rural schools because what is there to do? I'm graduating. I'm in my 20s. I'm gonna be sitting in the middle of.
So how do you combat that, Dr. Fisher?
So you got to give them something. You got to give them something. Okay, so we know that there are certain programs they have down payment assistance for homes, but we're gonna have to up that $5,000 if you bought a house later. That's not a whole lot. It's something, but it's not a whole lot.
That is crazy.
We've got to look at the incentives. We've got to look at how we're going to supplement these teachers, what is it you want to have? Before I became an educator, I was an economic researcher. The very first question when industry was coming to the table, they did not ask how many McDonald's you had. They didn't ask who all stay here. They wanted to know the state of your schools because they wanted to know that they were going to have somebody that could employ
A workforce.
their workforce, right? And so if we can't produce people that can go out and work, what happens to those towns? What happens to these smaller towns? You know, so we've got to look at. We can't just ignore
it's
it.
true,
School.
though.
We
That's
can't
true.
just ignore it.
I'm gonna say it for y'all. I'm gonna say it. What basically need to happen is these folks need to stop coming in with all these grants and using this government money to make the rich get richer and just letting the people who don't know stay unknown. We need to find some type of gap, and I don't know what it's gonna take to help actually mitigate this big gap. And I know it's really hard, and I'm just gonna say it. This has absolutely nothing to do with racism whatsoever, but we just know that it is the truth. Because predominantly the people who fail to get that type of education, they fail to get those type of resources, are African American or Latino. We got to find we got to come together as humanity to find a way to close that gap.
Well,
And stop envisioning like I don't want you better than me.
well, the thing of it is, we got to think about what is our end goal.
That,
What is our end goal?
I
Is
like where
the
you
end
going.
goal where do we want to live? Because people are moving to cities, they're moving to places because they're attracted to those places. But what happens when those places get full? Because I don't want to stay on top of anybody. So what is our end goal and how do we get there? And so
like
there's no quick fix, but we really and truly we have to look what is the problem? And I know it's hard to look at your problems. It's hard to look at what's wrong because we don't like to focus on wrong. That's uncomfortable and that causes us to have to look at it ourselves. I know for a fact I need to stop eating snacks and all that, but I'm not. I'm not because that makes me happy. But so when we thinking about these schools, I know I need teachers in here with experience. I know that we need more resources. It's hard for schools to hang on to experienced teachers. It's even harder for them to attract teachers. Went to a graduation a couple years ago. My little cousin graduated. She wanted to be a teacher. It's 8 graduates in the School of Education. 8 single digits. 8.
what school was this?
Mississippi College.
Oh,
8. And so you look at the colleges around the country, everybody's not beating down the door to be educated.
no, but like you said, it goes down to especially in Mississippi, the pay, and then so my wife is an educator, so this subject is very close to me. So not only are we looking at pay, but you think about the disrespect you give from parents.
Right.
You got parents who not heavily involved. So one of the things that I did see when we stayed in Georgia, and I really wish this could be. I mean, I think we talked about this on the phone when she called in, is that they mandated that the kids' parents or some type of representative perform a certain amount of community service in that school per year for their child to advance, because that pushes the involvement. Kids not only do, because honestly, and this is a whole nother topic, a whole nother podcast. Today's society, you got people who are enjoying the feeling but neglecting the responsibility.
Absolutely.
So
Everything I sent you to school, like I experienced this year, had a student, and I'm talking about loved the kid to death, but was wreaking havoc, and called the parent. Finally got the parent to the school, trying to talk to her. I'm trying to get background on this kid. Now, I know what the streets have told me. I know what the kids have told me. But parent looks me dead in the eye. Dr. Fisher, that's your problem because he at school.
Wow. Wow.
So, and it's not just her. We have a lot of parents like that sit across from the teachers, sit across from the admin and say that. So it's so many layers. But I think another place we can start is how we prepare potential students to go into education. I will be honest. I have 3 degrees that focus on educational leadership. None of them prepared me for the things I encounter with students. Now, of course, they prepared me well for the paperwork and how to teach to an extent. But we've got to be honest with these students. What are you going to encounter?
Okay.
When you get in the classroom, and that will you just got to be honest with them. You got to tell them, but you also have to give them solutions. You got to have them to be able to combat what's happening. Like I told one teacher before, I said, this young man, his situation is a little bit different. So when you are disciplining him, don't get in his face, because in his environment where he's going,
you got to square up.
You got to square.
You got to square up.
And
you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. And so, I mean, those small things, because we got to understand people. So many times we write people off. But if you make the effort to understand, like I had a conversation, everybody, oh my God, you can't talk to him, Dr. Fisher. He wrote, baby, why are you coming to this school acting like this? Me and you in here. Why are you coming acting like this? And to hear what that young man told me was heartbreaking. I can't imagine. That's something my child didn't have to worry about. But that was him, and that's why he was always on the defense. So we've got to give teachers tools. Better yet, we got to get mental health people in there. You've got to get behavior counselors that are doing more than assessing the discipline after it has occurred. It's so many pieces. I'm telling you, we got to do a complete overhaul. This is a huge elephant. Matter of fact, it's a herd of elephants, and we got to just eat them bit by bit. But we got to make a step in that direction if we're going to change the dynamics of education. Not just in Mississippi, but across the United States.
Glad you got anything?
No, you good, man.
So you know, a couple of questions, and we're nearing the end of the show, and this is good. So what should the role be of the schools in supporting the whole child?
So, like I said, first of all, the school. So when you think about how a child learns, right? I told you guys earlier at the beginning, it has changed. When you think about how a child learns, first things first, safety. Can you learn if you're not safe? So having, a lot of schools have security guards. They have the school security officers, the SSOs, but you need these SROs. Now, everybody said, what's the difference? They the police. No, SROs have extensive training. They know how to deal with students. You can't just put a regular police officer in a school, because their first instinct when a student cuts up, I'm going to do what I do in the street. You can't do that in a school. So you've got to have the right people in place. That school's got to be safe. So now that we've addressed the safety, now it's got to be orderly. You got to have strong leaders in these schools. You got to have strong leaders in these schools that are willing to learn, that are willing to grow and explore. It's crazy to me how schools recycle leaderships and are surprised when I keep getting the same outcome, because you just took that leader and put them over here. They didn't grow, they didn't learn. So you've got to have that leadership. Finally giving teachers the tools to do what they need, and having those supplemental people, those mental health counselors, the school nurse, having true mentorship taking place, having mentorship training. A lot of people don't know how to be mentors. They think mentors, I'm gonna tell you this and that's what you're gonna do. No, so it's so many pieces, so many. I can talk about this all night, but you get the point. You get the point.
I see kinfolk, Kyler Moss Poe. Yeah, it says, I always say it, and I'll say it again. We need Tiffany's Future Academy in our lives.
Come on, Jesus. Speaking
it into existence. Look, we're nearing the end of the show. Dr. Fisher, I want to open the floor up for you. I don't know if there were some questions that I didn't ask you. There's something that we haven't already talked about in the show that you probably had on your heart and your mind to say or talk about. Is there anything that we missed? Of course, we could talk about this all day long. Yeah. But first of all, I appreciate you guys caring enough to have me on the show, to give me a platform to just speak about just a little bit. All of you people that are tuning in, thank you so much. And I am just appreciative that people are listening. This conversation will continue. Is this the time where I kind of tell how I can? Yes.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So I'm currently just finished writing a book talking about DEI as it relates to education. That's available now. And then I told you guys the very first step is to make sure that we have safe and orderly schools. So that book will drop in June. And thinking about mentorship and how we train students, my parent company is 1284. That's where I focus on developing curriculum and instruction and tutoring for underserved communities. So I literally have students that come to me, they may struggle with something, and I literally develop material that they see themselves in. So I cultivate that material for that student, for that organization. Also, through my parent company, have now launched 1280 Leads, where I have taken on student leadership. I have 12 student leaders. They come from all across the state, and we are going to I have paired them with mentors. They're going to work on developing their soft skills, all these good things, and we're going to produce some leaders. So it's a lot of irons in the fire. I'm not sure what God is doing, but I'm just, hey, I'm on this ship and I'm sailing with him, and I'm so thankful for that. But yeah, that's pretty much it. But to wrap this thing up, I want y'all to understand the upcoming book. This tonight, Lessons from the Block. That's the upcoming book. And I'm not gonna give too much away, but examining popular television shows, correlating that to what we're seeing in the classroom and developing real solutions for teachers. And so we anticipate that being out by the end of the year or the first of the year. And always available to come and do true professional development for students. Always willing to do things for teachers, community, etc. I see my hairdresser on here. She said I literally have done sessions with students while she was doing my hair, and that is the truth.
Yeah.
That is the truth. So, but I like I said, I'm so appreciative. I'm so thankful to be able to even scratch the surface of this. Like I said, I can talk about this all day long. Those of you that are on, make sure you go follow my business at 1284
Please
Education Consultants on Facebook. Make sure you go follow that. That's where I do a lot of different things. But guys, I'm so appreciative of this. This is near and dear to my heart.
How can we get these books? Where do we go to get these books?
Okay, so again, my website is 1284.com, and you also can, the links are on my Facebook page, 1284 Education Consultants. You can get those there as well.
So y'all hit her up. Tiffany Jones Fisher on Facebook. Dr. Fisher, look, oh man, I wish we could go on.
I know, right?
I wish we could go on. You know
what that mean, then?
Yeah, we're gonna have to get. I'm gonna have to buy you a tank of gas. You got to come back.
We gotta get you from over there, Isha Buddha.
Here you go.
You over there.
Oh my God.
Here you go.
Yeah.
Here you go. You're gonna have to come back. This has been wonderful. Any more last words, Dr. Fisher?
For those of you who are listening, who are commenting, whether you're an educator or not, you know an educator, you know a kid. Whatever you can do for that kid, whatever you can do for that educator, even if, most importantly, if you can pray for them, but whatever you can do, whatever resources you have access to, do it. Because we're going to need everybody to turn this ship around. Because this is not just about black and white. This is about truly saving our kids. We've got to save our babies. We've got to save the young people. We can't just toss them to the wolves. Shout out to Shaylin. She actually put it under there. She tagged my business under there.
Yeah, I'll put it on the screen for you.
We've got to work collaboratively to save our students. And so I'm so appreciative of this opportunity to get here and share what I'm doing. So thank you guys so much.
Y'all show some love in the comments. Make the hearts and the lights go crazy right now for Dr. Tiffany Jones Fisher. Y'all show some love too.
Yes, sir.
Straight out of Equipment, Mississippi, Equipment High School. You already know. By way of Pachuta.
Come on now.
AKA it's your Buddha.
Here you go. He always starting it up. He can't help himself.
Yeah, I can't help myself.
He got to do it, man. Thank you so much. Glass, take us out of here.
Yes, sir. Well, look here, folks, man. This has been an absolutely wonderful Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious podcast, man. When I say she came in and dropped the bomb. But what we need you all to do is make sure you subscribe, make sure you follow, make sure you like. We want to keep this thing going because we are nothing without you. So we need you to not only subscribe, but make sure you go book your cabin down at Clark Cove for all my Isha Buddha Meridian equipment people. And y'all make sure y'all use code GLASS 25, case sensitive, before this year's out, before July the 2nd.
Yeah.
So, with that being said, folks, we absolutely again thank y'all for such a great and awesome time. We look forward to seeing you all here, same place, same
yes,
time,
sir.
here in Glass Studio on Unbreakable Glass Facebook page and YouTube page, 7:30 next Wednesday. We out this thing.
The greatest.